So yes, now we're moving to this consideration of this question of how should leaders embrace complexity. And it's a really good question because just if we agree that we should now see our firms or projects or sectors as complex adaptive systems, well, that poses this really fundamental challenge to the whole concept of leadership. I mean, remember those murmurations that Don Tapscott showed us early yesterday morning? I mean, it was such a beguiling notion, even when the sort of hypnotic Pachelbel bell music got turned down a bit, it was still beguiling, that this idea that you could have a collection of individuals that could take that kind of concerted action and solve important problems without some kind of particularly gifted starling being declared the leader of the flock. But at the same time, we understand that leadership is really important. There was a guy, Erskine Bowles. He was White House Chief of Staff under Bill Clinton. And he also was a leader in other realms. He spent long stints as a university president and investment banker. And he once said, leadership is the key to 99% of all successful efforts. So was he overstating that? Is that statement is it becoming more or less true as we take on increasingly complex challenges? So, I mean, I'm not sure, but it does seem like we're going to have to rethink some of what we expect of and what we develop in the next generation of leaders. So, for instance, some of the challenges that I think we're faced with are, what does the organization now depend on the leader to do? And how do they exercise influence in a world of complexity? And then what kind of attributes does that imply? What kind of a person really succeeds, or what activities of a leader really succeed in this complex environment? So please be thinking about those questions, because we're going to turn to a broad discussion. We want to hear your voices. We want you to be part of this session, not only with questions, but with observations on those questions. And to further provoke your thinking, we're going to lead off with two presentations by Roger Martin and Julian Birkinshaw. Roger Martin, I mean, what an eminently qualified person to talk to us about how leadership should change. First of all, he is a leader himself. Of course, he was the dean of the Rotman School at the University of Toronto for 15 years, and now is at the helm of the Martin Prosperity Institute. And, but he's also, this kind of renowned and sought-out advisor to other leaders of very large organizations, and his newest book with A.G. Lafley of Procter & Gamble is evidence of how smart those collaborations can be. Julian Birkinshaw, also a great advisor and student of leadership. In fact, his next book is called Becoming a Better Boss. That'll be his 13th book. You might not yet have finished his 12th book, which was Reinventing Management. He's at London Business School, where he's a professor of strategy and entrepreneurship. So welcome to you both first. And Roger, do you want to lead us off?